The desert stretched endlessly under the twin suns of Zorath 7, their light casting long shadows across the cracked earth. The air shimmered with heat, and the horizon was dotted with jagged rock formations that looked like broken teeth in the mouth of some ancient beast. In this desolate wasteland, humanity's last outpost clung to survival, a ramshackle collection of prefab domes and rusting machinery known as Outpost Echo. Cale Armitage was not a hero by any stretch of the imagination. He was just a mechanic, one of many who kept the outpost running against all odds. His hands were calloused from years of prying open stubborn panels and welding together parts scavenged from derelict ships. His face bore the marks of too much. Time spent under harsh alien skies, deep lines etched into his skin like fissures on stone. But Cale had something most others didn't, an unshakable curiosity about the machines he worked on, whether they were human-made or otherwise. It started when the alarm blared through the outpost at dawn, not the usual klaxon warning of sandstorms or power failures, but the deep, resonant tone reserved for intrusions. Everyone scrambled to their posts, weapons drawn, expecting another raid from the marauders who prowled the wastes. But what they found instead left them stunned. Hovering silently above the perimeter fence was a machine unlike anything anyone had ever seen. It was massive, easily 3 times the size of a transport shuttle, its sleek surface reflecting the sunlight in strange, shifting patterns. Its shape defied logic. It seemed both organic and mechanical, with tendrils of glowing energy pulsing along its edges like veins of molten gold. And yet, it wasn't attacking. Instead, it hovered there, motionless, radiating an aura of quiet. "Menace! What is that thing?" someone whispered hoarsely over the comms. "No idea," Commander Voss replied grimly. "But if it wanted us dead, we'd already be ashes." After hours of tense standoff, the machine descended slowly, settling onto the ground outside the fence. Then, without warning, it powered down. The glow faded, leaving behind a lifeless hulk of alien metal. For a moment, no one moved. Finally, Commander Voss turned to Cale. "You're up, Armitage. Figure out what it is, and whether it's dangerous." Cale hesitated. Normally, he repaired engines and generators, not whatever this was. But he couldn't deny the pull of curiosity tugging at him. Grabbing his toolkit, he stepped outside the safety of the dome and approached the machine cautiously. Up close, it was even more imposing. Its surface was smooth and cold to the touch, yet it hummed faintly, as though alive. Cale ran his fingers over it, searching for seams or access points. When he finally located a panel near the base, he pried it open with trembling hands. Inside was a labyrinth of circuits and conduits, unlike anything he'd encountered before. They glowed softly, pulsing in rhythm with the faint hum. "Well," he muttered to himself, "here goes nothing." Hours passed as Cale worked tirelessly, deciphering the alien technology piece by piece. It was maddeningly complex, but also strangely intuitive, as if the machine itself wanted to be understood. Slowly, he began to repair the damage he assumed had brought it here, a catastrophic failure in its core systems. As he worked, he noticed something odd. The machine responded to his presence. Panels would shift slightly to give him better access, and the hum grew louder, almost like approval. By the time he finished, night had fallen. The twin moons hung low in the sky, bathing the desert in silver light. Exhausted but satisfied, Cale stepped back to admire his handiwork. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, with a sound like distant thunder, the machine roared to life. Lights flared brightly, illuminating the entire outpost. Tendrils of golden energy snaked outward, wrapping around Cale and lifting him gently off the ground. Panic surged through him as he struggled, but the machine held him firmly, yet not painfully. A voice echoed in his mind, not words exactly, but impressions, images, emotions. It showed him visions of stars being born and dying, of civilizations rising and falling, of endless journeys across the void. And then abruptly, the images stopped, replaced by a single clear thought. You have repaired me. I am yours. Just as suddenly, the tendrils released him, and Kale collapsed to the ground, gasping for breath. The machine loomed above him, its presence overwhelming. Back at the outpost, the other humans watched in stunned silence, unsure whether to intervene or flee. Over the next few days, Kale discovered that the machine, now self-designated as Guardian, was far more than a simple piece of alien tech. It was sentient, capable of independent thought and action. More importantly, it had chosen him as its pilot, or perhaps its companion. Whether this was a blessing or a curse remained to be seen. Guardian revealed fragments of its purpose. It was a protector, created by an ancient race to safeguard their legacy. But its creators were long gone, lost to time and catastrophe. Now, adrift and damaged, it sought a new purpose, and Kale fit the role perfectly. As weeks turned into months, Kale grew accustomed to Guardian's presence. Together, they explored the deserts of Zorath 7, uncovering remnants of forgotten civilizations and fending off attacks from hostile scavengers. Guardian's abilities were awe-inspiring. It could manipulate matter, bend gravity, and project devastating energy blasts. Yet it never acted without Kale's consent, treating him not as a subordinate, but as an equal partner. But the bond between man and machine came at a cost. The other humans at Outpost Echo grew wary of Guardian, seeing it as both a threat and a temptation. Some argued that such power should belong to humanity as a whole, not to a lone mechanic. Others feared what might happen if Guardian turned against them, or worse, if Kale lost control. Tensions reached a breaking point when Commander Voss demanded that Kale relinquish Guardian to the Outpost's authority. Kale refused, knowing that doing so would betray the trust Guardian had placed in him. That night, as arguments escalated into threats, Guardian intervened. With a single pulse of energy, it disabled every weapon in the outpost, rendering the humans powerless. You misunderstand, Kale said, addressing the angry crowd. Guardian isn't a weapon. It's a guardian. And it chose me because I fixed it, because I treated it with respect. If you want its help, you'll have to earn it. Reluctantly, the humans backed down. Over time, they learned to coexist with Guardian, albeit uneasily. Under Kale's guidance, it became a force for good, helping the outpost thrive in ways they never thought possible. Crops grew where none had before thanks to Guardian's ability to alter the environment. Broken machinery was restored to working order overnight. Even the marauders eventually gave up their raids, unable to compete with the unstoppable duo. Yet despite these successes, Kale often wondered about the future. What did Guardian truly want? Was it content to remain tethered to a human outpost? Or did it yearn for something greater? And what of Kale himself? Had he become a pawn in a game he barely understood? Or had he truly forged a partnership with an entity beyond comprehension? One evening, as the twin suns dipped below the horizon, Kale stood beside Guardian, gazing out at the endless desert. "Do you miss your creators?" he asked quietly. Guardian's response came not in words, but in a rush of warmth and reassurance. It projected an image into Kale's mind, a starry sky filled with infinite possibilities. Among those stars, Kale saw glimpses of new worlds, new challenges, and new adventures. "I guess we're stuck with each other," Kale said with a wry smile. Guardian pulsed gently, as if agreeing. Together they faced the unknown, bound by a connection neither fully understood, but both cherished deeply. And so, beneath the twin moons of Zorath 7, a human mechanic and an alien guardian embarked on a journey that would change the fate of countless worlds, including their own.